So we were discussing vein shear just yesterday. That is, it is an instrument that where a four-bladed vein is inserted into the ground strata, and it is rotated at a constant rate between 6 and 12 degree through the soil, and whatever torque, actually it is rotated something like this, because we have talked of shear. So shear is always found out when we will try to shear the soil. So the torque which is required to rotate, the torque required to rotate when it goes down is going to be recorded. And if it is included into a sleeve to prevent the soil adhesion, because what happens sometimes the soil adheres to the instrument, which creates problem. Depending on the nature of soil, vein test may be carried out 100 to 250 feet. Now this is the sample, the instrument setup, where we have got a instrument where by rotating through a handle, we are giving the circular motion to this particular setup, and it is going, different pieces are there which are interconnected with each other, and this is the main soil sampler, or we can say vein shear test sampler. It is having the blades, four blades, and it disturbs the soil strata when it goes inside. So the torque required to disturb the soil strata 100% and move on down is recorded into the instrument, and that those recorded readings give us the idea of the shear strength of the soil. Curves are drawn based upon the displacement and the load recorded. Classification and identification of the soil. So it was in the year 1952 by the Bureau of Reclamation and the Corps of Engineers, USA, that this Professor A. Casagrande, you might have heard the name, or you might have used that Casagrande apparatus into the soil mechanics lab. If you have not used yet, you will be going to use it in future. So Casagrande, a consultant, he tried to categorize the different soils, because it is always required by an engineer for a project that which type of soil strata is existing, because everything depends upon the stability of the foundation, and the stability of foundation depends upon the soil strata beneath. So there are going to be two particular types of behavior which are very dominant. One is static behavior, which is like this, because the foundation is putting a vertical static load to the strata. So by its own self weight, it will be having its own stability. So it is checked against the overturning, whether the foundation is susceptible to overturning or not. The second thing is that you have got the lateral load, that is earthquake load or any other lateral load. So one load is which is vertical load, what is including superimposed load and the dead load. The other load is which is lateral load or inclined load also. So for that, whether the soil strata is suitable or not to carry the superstructure and the foundation. For that purpose, the engineering properties of the soil is required. Mind my words, what I am saying, it is called as engineering properties of the soil, which we will see later on into this particular chapter. So it was required to classify based upon the gravel, sand, and fines in accordance with the grain size. So what are the different sizes of the grain size of the sand or gravel or clay which is present into the soil? Based upon that, the classification can be done and curves can be drawn, which is going to be used further to classify the soil strata. शेप ऑफ द ग्रेन साइज कर्व फॉर कोर्स ग्रेन सॉइल्स, जितना जो पास होता जाएगा. सो अगर आपने एक सॉइल का एक बहुत बड़ा सा सैंपल आपने सीव्स के ऊपर डाला, जो हमारे पास सॉइल मैकेनिक्स लैब में सीव्स होती हैं, दे आर 400 माइक्रोन 250 माइक्रोन लाइक दैट, साइज गोज ऑन रिड्यूसिंग. तो क्या होगा कि जो सबसे बड़े सैंपल, जो बड़े बड़े आपके पत्थर होते हैं, एग्रीगेट होते हैं, वो सबसे ऊपर जो बड़ी सीव होती है उस पर रिटेन हो जाते हैं. Baki rest of the material pass on. We will see into this particular lecture. Gravel and gravelly soils, sand and sandy soils. So this is the majorly involved soils for the characterization. Silt is there, clay is there, organic soils are there, peat well graded. Now this is a classification based upon the sieving of the soils. For the use of field engineer, Corps of Engineers have published these field identification procedures and guidelines so that all field logs can be interpreted using the same language. So let us, if we have made a system, so let us say it is corresponding to 1952, we have made a system. So that system is going to be used commonly for all purposes. Group symbols or gravelly soils. So the amount of the there are different sieve numbers. Here it is just corresponding to one sieve number, that is sieve number 200. But we have got different 7 to 8 sieve numbers. It is a system. We will see that later on. So whatever the percentage is passing for a particular soil strata, it will be what is retained and what is passing. Will give us an idea that our soil sample lies in which category. So if less than 5% is passing with a certain size, because size is D60 by D10. This is, I'm just giving you an idea how it is being done. We are not required to remember these values. Then next is group symbols for sandy soils. This was for gravelly soils. For sandy soils, and we have silt and clay soils. Now what is retained and what is passing? 12% is passing, number 200 sieve. So it comes now, it has been attached. S has been attached with W. What is S? Here G is attached with W. So G is a gravel and gravelly soils, and W is well graded. So it becomes gravelly soils which are well graded under the condition that less than 5% is passing, number 200 sieve. All this data, all these three tables are being plotted using into this particular table, which is later on formed to be plasticity chart. They have been used to formulate this particular chart. For proper classification according to the above tables, the following should be noted. That is 3 in sieve and retained on the sieve number 4. According to the Indian system, it is something else. The sieve numbers are different and the size in microns is different. That we will see when we will go actually into the testing process. Identification and description of the soils, laboratory classification, which is very important for us. Unified soil classification system has provided for precise delineation of the soil group by gradation analysis, because we formulate a grading curve, and Atterberg limits tested in the laboratory. So further, whatever retained and passed, we try to find out liquid limit, plastic limit for those samples, and correlating both the data, we finally finalize the limits. Within the sand and gravel groupings containing less than 5% finer on 200 number sieve are considered clean. Now here you can see it is number 10, number 40, so this is how it is passing, and what is retained on which numbers is be used. If a soil is determined to be fine grained by using the grain size curve, it is further classified into one of the 6 groups by plotting the results of Atterberg limits.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर, सर आपका माइक म्यूट है।
अरे भाई थोड़ी पहले बताया करो, अभी कितना देर हो गया। So think I will have to cover it again from here. Okay, no problem. We will do it again. Thank you, class. Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
Are you all there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you could have told me that, sir, your mic is muted. So these are the requirements of standard instruments which are required initially into the laboratory, any soil mechanics laboratory. And these are the tests which are most of the time the common tests which are required to be done. But we can ignore some of them. A drying oven, a set of sieves. This is very important, a set of sieves, because we can draw the grading curve only if we are having set of sieves. A set of graduated glass cylinders, Proctor cylinder and hammer, large and small scale balance. Weighing balance is again very much required. So let us start with the soil test. The most important laboratory test on expensive soils, which are the such as clay, which is very much intended to have an expansion. They are having the tendency to expand. The standard one-dimensional consolidation test apparatus, which you can see here. This is called as strain of consolidated test specimen. A standard consolidometer can accommodate a remolded or undisturbed sample from 2 to 4.25 inches. This assembly of the porous stone and the sample is placed on a platform, as we can see here, and the load is applied by a yoke actuated by a screw jack. The load imposed on the sample is measured by the scale beam, and a dial gauge is provided to measure the vertical movement. The advantage of such an arrangement is that it is possible to hold the upper loading bar at a constant volume and allow the measurement of the maximum uplift pressure of the soil.